In this video, I am going to discuss about the horizontal shift for a function. Let's consider an easy function which is very easy to see, easy to visualize. Y is equal to f of x is equal to x squared, this function. When you graph it, this is how it looks like. By the way, this is nothing but a parabola going through the origin. Basically, the vertex is at the origin right here at 0, 0. Now, I am going to shift this function to the right or to the left by making some changes. Now let's look at this new function which is in green. What it is, basically the exact same function. I shifted it to the right by 1 unit. Now the vertex is at 1, 0. What kind of changes in the function makes the graph move to the right by 1 unit? This is exactly the change, x minus 1 whole square. Please note here, counter to your intuition, the sign inside the square is negative. When it's a negative sign, that means if you are subtracting a constant, of course assuming that the constant is positive, if you are subtracting a positive constant inside the square, the net effect is that you are moving the function to the right by that many units. In our case, we have moved it to the right by 1 unit. Now, here is another thing I would like to point out. This change in the function is under the square root. Under the square, not square root, under the square, which means it's an inside change. So this is a square function, y is equal to x square. Now the change is inside the square, we will call it inside change. Inside change for a function is basically moving the function, graph of the function, either to the right or to the left. As you probably can already guess the following, subtracting 1 from the function, from the x inside the square makes the function move to the right by 1 unit. Now adding 1 under the square to x would probably move it to the left by 1 unit. If you guess that, that's absolutely correct. So now I'm going to give you an example like that. Now here is an example. We took exactly the same function y is equal to x square, then added 1 under the square. The effect of that is basically taking this original function, original graph, and moving it to the left by 1 unit, which is at negative 1, 0. Initially the vertex was at 0, 0. Now the vertex is at negative 1, 0. Once again, let me remind you, when the change is inside for a function, inside change, the move is either going to be to the right or to the left. The shift is horizontal shift. Inside change implies horizontal shift. So please keep that in mind. And when you are adding under the square, in this particular case, in an inside change, when you are adding a positive constant, in essence you are moving to the left. Okay, that means you are shifting the function to the left. If you are subtracting a positive constant, you are shifting the function to the right. That means the graph moves to the right. So adding inside means moving the graph to the left. Subtracting inside means moving the graph to the right. Now let me summarize what we talked about here. In our particular example, we have talked about y is equal to x squared, the function. So we add a constant inside the square. So it's going to be x plus or minus k. Assume that k is positive, meaning k is greater than 0. Now adding means you are moving the graph of the function to the right by k units. To the left by k units. Subtracting k means you are moving the graph of the function to the right by k units. In general, I can summarize it. If you have a function y is equal to f of x, if you make the following changes to this function, y is equal to f of x plus k. That means this change is inside change. What's going to happen? You are going to move the function to the left by k units. Once again, we are assuming k is positive. But if you make this negative x minus k, you're moving the function to the right by k units. That means graph of the function. That's what I mean. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.